NASCAR 2023 rules just shocked everyone. It is impossible to dispute that NASCAR is a sport that is continually evolving. So it shouldn't really come as a surprise that there will be modifications for the 2023 season as well. What is unexpected, though, is how big these changes are, or more particularly, what the drivers will go through in the upcoming season. Well, after the 2022 launch of the next generation car, drivers will have a greater range of difficulties that they must overcome if they want to prevail in races and championships. And so, what exactly are these notable changes for the 2023 season of NASCAR? Let's find out. Hello NASCAR fam, and welcome back to NASCAR Live. But before we begin, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. And let's begin. The next-gen car, which made its debut in 2022, was the most recent significant development in NASCAR, as we previously reported. The car was intended to be similar from team to team, although there is some leeway in the rules to make each car slightly different than what it actually is. Because of this, NASCAR has modified the rulebook ahead of the 2023 season. In this particular situation, the change concerns the shims that mount between clips on the front chassis section pry. Teams could create shims up to 1/1600ths of an inch thick before the current season, but this range was decreased to 1/10 of an inch thick starting in 2023, making it more challenging for teams to modify this particular part of the car. The shims, as everyone is aware, are quite important in helping the crews locate the front and rear clips during the installation, as Brian Murphy of SHR mentioned. Also, he said that the present location has a variety of impacts on overall performance. What is crucial is if you want to drive a fast, dependable car. Moreover, it's important to point out that Brian Murphy and other NASCAR authorities generally praise this decision. According to him, the 1/10 of an inch range should be applied much more effectively to the next-gen vehicle because the 1/1600th inch range was simply too large. The present version of the rulebook states that shims may be used between each individual front subframe and the bulkhead mount on the center section assembly. The shims must be made of magnetic steel, and they can have a combined thickness of no more than 0.100 inch, or 1/10 of an inch, on each individual bulkhead mount. Shim modifications are a vital step in the direction of safety, but they aren't working as well as everyone had intended. Drivers have expressed their dissatisfaction with the next-generation automobile and its safety due to a range of faults it has demonstrated in terms of stability and performance. Kurt Busch has been forced to retire and sign a contract as a part-time driver for 23XI Racing as a result of a crash that initially didn't seem to be all that bad. Because of this, the managing director of the NASCAR Cup Series, Brad Moran, spoke about the changes that will undoubtedly occur when the 2023 season of the sport begins in a month, highlighting once more the fact that driver safety is the most crucial factor for NASCAR. The hoods and noses of the car will change for the next model year, giving it a somewhat new appearance. On the hood's cooling louvers, there has been minor alterations. The testing of aerodynamics has been completed, and similar things are in progress. Manufacturers have already submitted their noses and hoods for the upcoming season after all aerodynamic testing was finished. The main problem, though, that surfaced in the previous season was not the car's performance. All of the drivers who competed gave us some excellent racing, but we didn't witness any improvement in safety. In a sport like this, that is unquestionably the most crucial factor. Alex Bowman, who had a good round of 16, was among those to experience a concussion, in addition to Kurt Busch, which prevented him from moving on in the playoffs. In terms of the safety of the vehicle, NASCAR undoubtedly has a lot on their plate. Also, Brad Moran has talked about that, noting that safety is a never-ending task and that we seek to improve it every day. We've also been conducting a lot of testing on the car's back end, albeit it will never be finished. There will be a lot of changes starting in 2023, including new clip designs and some minor adjustments to the center section. One of the changes NASCAR made in preparation for the 2023 season was to test new rear bumper structures and rear clips at a crash testing facility. These components are expected to be used starting in 2023 because it appears that they have passed the durability test. The next generation car has had serious safety difficulties in its debut season, so this is undoubtedly a great improvement. but only time will tell if it'll be sufficient. The fact that these are insufficient for us to believe that NASCAR has fixed the issue with the safety of their vehicles, especially in light of the fact that the 2022 car has proven to be a safety risk, is more than certain. NASCAR has worked on a variety of solutions to address this issue, but it appears that a good number of them have already met the standards needed to be adopted by the sport. And one key factor in this is that NASCAR completes most of the safety simulation tests throughout the year, as has been mentioned. However, the teams are well aware of what will happen. The structure of the rear bumper will also change. We have been encouraged that NASCAR does care about the driver's safety as a result of the organization's admission that this is the area that needs the most improvement.
Are there things that we need to do to this race car that make it safer? Yes, particularly in the rear of the car, right?
After everything that has occurred in regards to the financial model, the TV rights, the SRX's greater independence from the sport, and more, anything that can be repaired or improved will always be there. The fact that NASCAR is trying to increase horsepower for the upcoming season speaks volumes about this. With increased safety comes increased horsepower, and the next generation car was supposed to ride with a 550 horsepower package. Nevertheless, NASCAR is unquestionably moving in the right direction. However, during testing, the drivers discovered that this was far from adequate, which is why NASCAR was compelled to declare that the cars will in fact race with 670 horsepower and a 4-inch spoiler for the 2022 season. Even though the 670 horsepower package has proven to be a solid one, it appears that the drivers and the fans would prefer the car to be a little more well equipped in this class. But when it comes to NASCAR, this is a portion that is probably going to go unnoticed. It's true that, aside from safety, the car's speed is practically the most crucial factor, but it doesn't imply NASCAR should boost the engine's power purely for show. According to Fox Sports commentator Bob Pockrass, the 2023 season won't see alterations of this nature, but the 2024 season might. Because it would require additional research and development, NASCAR is unwilling to employ the tapered spacer to increase horsepower above the 670 mark. Horsepower is something that will always get the interest of the fans and the drivers when it comes to performance parts and components, and there will always be debates over whether it should be used or not. In response to criticism for the next-generation vehicles from the previous season, NASCAR is now directly targeting the safety of the drivers. And as a result, the upcoming season promises to be highly exciting and full of changes. Let us know in the comments what you think of the entire situation. Meanwhile, NASCAR Hall of Fame to induct 3 drivers this weekend. Herschel McGriff, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Matt Kenseth have been inducted into the class of 2023, together with Mike Helton, the recipient of the NASCAR Landmark Award. The ceremony will take place in Charlotte on January 21st. You may watch coverage on the Peacock TV app. With 34 victories in his career, McGriff established his legacy in the Winston West Series. His most notable season came in 1986 when he won the series title, capping off a run of 10 straight seasons in which he finished in the top 10 in terms of championship points. When McGriff, then 94, competed in the K&N West Series race in 2018, he broke the record for the oldest driver to take part in a NASCAR race. Shelmerdine competed in the 2006 Daytona 500 as a driver and placed 20th. But his role as Dale Earnhardt's crew chief will always be remembered. In 1986, 1987, 1990, and 1991, Shelmerdine won 44 races in addition to 4 Winston Cup Series championships. Earnhardt became just the second NASCAR Cup Series driver to win 7 championships, thanks in part to Shelmerdine. The final Winston Cup champion was Matt Kenseth in 2003. He was a consistent contender for the championship throughout the 2000s and 2010s. His career victories, which include 2 Daytona 500 triumphs, tie him for 21st place overall. Significant contributions to the development and reputation of NASCAR are recognized with the Landmark Award for Extraordinary Accomplishments to NASCAR. It has been given 7 times in the past to 7 deserving individuals. Mike Helton, Vice Chairman of NASCAR, is added to that group. Helton's influence in racing can be seen in every position, from sports director for a radio station to the first non-France family member to be chosen NASCAR president in 2000. The death of Dale Earnhardt in February 2001 and the September 11th attacks later that same year were 2 of the worst things that ever happened to the NASCAR nation. Helton oversaw the establishment of the NASCAR Research and Development Center and led the organization through both of these tragedies. And that ends today's episode. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see even more of our incredible videos.